各位参加华人健康与安全年系列活动的朋友们，大家下午好，我是 EMA 中国商务中心的负责人安娜里。首先感谢我们华人建筑业协会提供了这样的一个平台，给我们大家来分享我们的健康与安全知识。也感谢我们的协办方 ACC 和 Site Safe 和我们一起来为大家提供帮助。EMA 是新西兰最早也是历史最优秀的、最具规模和影响力的商业协会。到目前，我们有大约8000名会员，许多是各个行业的领军企业。EMA 的华人商务中心去年5月份在奥克兰成立，是旨在为我们的华人企业主提供跨越语言、文化和信任等障碍，真正参与和融合到新西兰这个大家庭这样的一个平台。在 EMA 130多年的历史当中，我们根据我们会员的需求，发展和构建了一系列的会员服务，其中包括咨询热线、法律咨询、健康安全培训课程等。我现在给大家简单的介绍一下我们 EMA 和我们华人商务中心的服务。咨询热线是到目前为止我们的华人会员使用最多的服务之一。我们每天提供多达12个小时的中英双语服务。您有任何关于法律、人事方面的问题，均可以拨打我们800-800的咨询热线。同时，成为我们的会员，我们的网站还提供超过100个相关的文件供我们的会员使用，其中包括就业协议、职业健康培训和试用期条款等。政府协调也是 EMA 最具优势的服务之一。我们的内部专家和会员代表会为我们的中国社区和企业集团发声，我们也会组织一系列的简报会，帮助您定期的了解地方和中央政府的法律法规和最新的相关制度。您也可以通过我们的政府协调部门和顶级的商业领袖及政界人士举行私人的简报会。除此之外，EMA 的培训课程、法律服务和其他的会员服务，也为我们的华人企业主提供了一系列的相关支持。我们的健康及安全培训是经过 NZCBIA 认证的，其中也包括其他超过200种涵盖广泛的职业课程，例如我们的项目管理培训。对于我们的法律服务而言，我们的法律团队了解新西兰雇主和其业务，也可以根据最新的就业法提供最有价值的建议，也帮我们的会员来解决一系列的人事或者是1、2方面的问题。同时 EMA 还为我们的会员提供会议场所及设备。我们有专业的团队来帮助您组织、安排和设计研讨会以及其他的商业活动。如果您有任何需求呢，也可以随时和我或者是 EMA 我们相关的我们的团队进行联系。EMA 在这次新冠肺炎疫情期间，提供了一系列的企业支持计划。您有任何需求，可以呢随时登录我们 EMA 的网站 3w.ema.co.nz。 在新冠疫情期间，我们也创建了专门的关于如何应对此次危机的信息的网站。您可以看到在这一页的第一行，可以直接登录我们 COVID-19 ema.co.nz 来可以在线接收我们一些关于现场网絡研讨会所传达给大家的信息。您有任何问题可以发邮件给我，我的邮箱地址是anna.li@ ema.co.nz， 也可以在任何时间拨打我们 EMA 的中文服务热线。谢谢大家。接下来我们想请我们 EMA 专门负责健康与安全的主管 Paul Javi 来给大家进行更详细的安全知识分享。谢谢。
Thank you, Anna, and thanks for the opportunity to be involved in this presentation. As we all know, we've been in lockdown for 4 weeks and under level 3 for another couple of weeks, and now we're into level 2. What this really means is that the level of risk within the community is getting less, but not zero. So we can't think that going back to work is business as usual, because it's not. There's still a risk out there. And even though the daily reports of COVID-19 being reported as being 1 or 0 or 3, that's only comes from the reports that have gone through the lab tests. So obviously people who haven't been through the lab tests, those numbers won't be in terms reported in terms of those numbers. So it's really important to understand that while we are at level 2, there are some very general rules that we need to abide by, because we are still under a threat of COVID-19. So this presentation is just going to cover off some important points about what it means to be working under level 2, specifically within the residential building sector. I think it's important to understand what a virus is and what it does, because there's still quite a lot of misconceptions out there in the marketplace. So basically, a virus is a very, very small organism. It takes 50 of them to span the width of a human hair, so they're very, very small. But unlike other germs, viruses need a live host. They need someone to live on or in. So viruses live inside people. And because we're alive, then they can stay alive, because once they're inside us, then they start to multiply and cause other problems inside our body, mainly in terms of the lungs, in terms of things like pneumonia and other infections. So we need to understand then that how does the virus get into us? Well, the main way that viruses enter our body is through droplets, airborne droplets. And these are caused by people when they're coughing and sneezing. And when you sneeze, a big cloud of spray comes out your nose and mouth. And inside that, then there are viruses that are attached to little tiny water droplets. We can't see them, but they're there. And there are many millions of those viruses that are expelled every time we cough and sneeze. Because they are heavy, because they are heavier than air, they will eventually fall to the ground. But sometimes they'll land on desks, they'll land on tools, they'll land on steering wheels, on clothes, on cups, on cell phones, anything. They'll land there. So what this really means is that the main route for viruses to enter our bodies is through airborne transmission. And that's mainly, as I just said, in terms of coughing and sneezing. When the virus has been expelled from our body, then it lands on surfaces. These viruses then can live on those surfaces for at least between 12 to 72 hours, depending on what the surface is and the ambient environments. So we know, for example, that things like cardboard will keep it living longer, whereas cold hard surfaces like copper, it can be down as low as 12 hours. If it's on, if the virus now is on some form of a surface, and we touch that surface with our hand, that means now that the virus is on our hand. And this is the second mode of transport, because once it's on our hand, we then can put it onto our nose, onto our cell phone, we wipe our face, we blow our noses, and therefore we get transmission via our hands. We also know that one of the most common routes of entry into the body is via mobile phone, sometimes called the third hand, because we're always on our mobile. So if our hands are contaminated, then our mobile phones are going to be contaminated. And a very good way to kind of test this is to put some stuff on your hand one day and just touch and just do some work, and you'll see where your hands have touched over a period of hours. And this is the way that the virus can be transferred as well. One thing that's not often realized is that even without a virus, even in normal day activity, that we touch our faces about 23 times an hour. So that's, we scratch your nose, we scratch your eyebrows, we twiddle our nose, we cough, whatever else. And if you think about that for over an 8-hour day, that's 180 times a day when you're at work, or for your waking day, about 360 times a waking day. When you're in bed, you still scratch your nose, but we don't know how often that is. But what it means is that any contaminant that's on a flat surface, any contaminant that you've now got on your hands, it's got round about 180 times the chance of being transferred through your nose, eyes and mouth while you're at work, because we touch our face that many times a day. That doesn't automatically mean that you're going to get sick, because what we know is that the incubation time, that is the time from when you take the virus on board, it's an average about 5 to 6 days that you start feeling sick. So the first 4 or 5 days, it can be inside your body, but you are unaware of it. You have no signs or symptoms, but if you are sneezing during those times, that 4 or 5 days, that's when it can transfer as well. So we need to understand that having it on board and feeling sick, there's this time lag, but the time lag is also the transmission time as well. Obviously, when you are sick and you've got signs and symptoms, then you know you've got them, and that's also a contagious part of the virus cycle as well. So I just put this little slide up here just to show you how contagious the virus is. We know that the COVID-19 virus has an infection rate of 1 to 2.5 to 3. And what that means is that one person, one contaminated person, on average will infect 2.5 to 3 people. Now, if you take that and compare that to the normal flu that we get during our winter time, that's about 1 to 1. So this is more contagious than our normal winter flu. So this diagram tries to show then that if one person infects 3, those 3 people infect 3 people each. So now we got 9. Then we got 27, and from there on, it's just an exponential number. It just goes wildfire. So this is really important to try and stop the transfer of this in the very early stages. So as soon as you feel as though you got signs or symptoms, you feel as though you're a bit achy, you got a bit of a headache, a bit of a flu, runny nose, sore throat, and you're starting to cough, and you'll get that in the first 4 or 5 days, that's the time to seek medical attention, because we don't want the 1, 3, 9, 27 scenario. We don't want this explosion of transmission in the public space. And that's why it's so important to have those lab tests as soon as you feel unwell. You're probably going to come back and saying the test is negative, but that's good. What we don't want is people feeling unwell and not getting tested. That is not what we want. So what can we do? The best thing that you can do, and we've heard this over and over again, but it really is the best thing to do, is to wash your hands, and wash your hands. As I said before, we touch our faces 23 times an hour, 180 times during the day, and or sanitize them. So washing hands means a good 20 seconds in warm soapy water, or a sanitizing agent with at least 60 to 70% alcohol in it. When you're at work, obviously you've been touching your face, you've been coughing and sneezing, or other people have in that matter. So you need to think about wiping down your tools, your hammer, your saw, your drills, your nail gun, your level, whatever tools you have, whatever's been on your hand now can be and is on your tools. And if you go and pick your drill up or your handsaw or whatever it may be, and then wipe your nose or scratch your eye, that is a mode of transport. Also, if you've got things like a smoko hut or an office, then you have to wipe down what we call high touch points. So high touch points will be things like door handles, computer keyboards, your cell phone keypads, printers, in the bathrooms, the door handles of the bathroom and handles, anything where people can touch frequently are a route of entry. Also think about when you're going to work and going home from work, if you have just left the job and you drive home in your car, whatever's been on your hand is now on the steering wheel. It may be then that your partner or one of your children drive your car and they touch the steering wheel, and that can be then a source of transfer. We've always been told that if you are coughing and sneezing, then you should cough into your elbow, and this stops it going onto your hands. But then it's a good idea after that then also to wash your hands as well. So really this is about good personal hygiene, sneezing correctly, but washing your hands frequently. And you really need to get into a habit. And I guess when you're on a construction site and you're building, the last thing you want to do is stop and go and wash your hands. But it really is important to do that as frequently as is possible. We also need to think about what we call the breathing zones. So the person on the left there, that head, when you're just sitting down normally breathing, you draw your breath from about 300 mils out from your face. So if you kind of think of a balloon sitting out here, that's when you normally breathe from. And if you're huffing and puffing, you've been doing heavy work, then you'll be dragging air further away from you because you've got more suction coming in to try and pull that air in. Equally on the right-hand side, you'll see there in a stylized form, someone sneezing. So when a person sneezes, it comes out at about 140 km an hour. And that can push the water droplets out 2 or 3 meters. So if you see someone sneezing over there, it's quite likely that that's going to be in the air for some time. And if you walk past that person, it's quite likely now that you're going to still be walking through their sneeze zone, so to speak. We know that in public spaces, what we call social distancing is 2 meters. And the top diagram there just shows that 2 meter bubble. So if you can keep that 2 meters, anything that you've got is kept away from the person who hasn't got it. And this is about what we call social distancing. We want to try and keep as far apart as we can to stop the spread. And the further away we are, the less like there is for spread. So in a public space, out in the park, going down the beach, walking in the mall, we talk about this 2 meter space. The regulations now say that when you're at work, that 2 meters can come down to 1 meter. But I want you to understand, the closer you get to someone, the closer you're going to get to their breathing zone. And on the right-hand side there, there's a couple of people there having a coffee over a table. If you can imagine 2 breathing zones of 300 each, then there's a very small gap in the middle where people can draw breath from another person's breath. So social distancing, keeping away from people, is absolutely vital. It's as important as it is washing your hands. So I've just kind of been on Google here and found some common pictures of building sites. So these are taken off the website for under residential building. And we see the top left-hand corner there, they are hardly 1 meter apart. On the top right there, we've got people lifting up a plank by the look of it, or a beam. So they're getting pretty close. You have to also understand that if that's heavy, then you're going to be huffing and puffing. So more air is going to be being breathed in and out. So again, try and keep as far apart as you can. The bottom left-hand corner there, they are roughly about 1 meter apart, and that would be okay. And the bottom right-hand corner there, the end of a plank, they're well over 1 meter apart. That's all good. Now, there are many, many instances when you're residential building that you're going to have people in and around you. So you need to be conscious about that 1 meter rule and try and stay away from as many people as you possibly can. Because social distancing keeps the virus away and it can't be transmitted. Hand washing stops it coming off the hard surfaces onto your hands, onto your face. So it's a really important but simple message, but hard to do sometimes. So I've just summarized this. So when you're at work, you need to be at least 1 meter apart, and you really should try and do that. There'll be some situations when you can't. So if you're less than 1 meter and there are 2 people working, you might be doing some close work, you might be drilling a hole or whatever the case may be, then if you're under 1 meter, then you should be thinking about wearing a mask. Now, wearing a mask needs to be done properly. You can't just put it on your face and let it hang there. It's got to be closely fitting, tied up tight, so it's actually doing its job. All right. Because you're going to be on a construction site, residential, you may have a number of trades coming onto that site to do work in and around you. So you might be finishing off, you might get a plasterer there, you might have a sparky there and a plumber there, someone putting up aerials, whatever it may be. It's their workplace as well, but you need to make sure that you are in your safe space, and that is 1 meter. Because it's a residential workplace, then the law requires that you have what's called a register. So that's probably going to be the project manager, but if you're in charge of the site, it may well be you. What this means is that you have to keep a register of everyone who comes on site. And this would include other contractors, it might be delivery people dropping off product, it could be inspectors coming up to do their work in terms of inspections and sign-offs. So anyone who's on site for more than 15 minutes and in a close contact with you, you need to know who they are and you need to log who they are. Now this is absolutely important because if a virus was found on site, then the Ministry of Health need to find out and know who was on site. So by having this register of people who have been on site, they can quickly go through that register and make contact with those people to get them tested as well. So it's really, really important that you have what we call these registers for contact tracing. Now, CHASANS, which is an organisation, a national organisation that's been developed over the last 18 months or so, they have put together a little protocol there for residential construction protocols. It's a little 3-pager. There's a whole lot of information on there as well, and Anna will make this available to you after my presentation. But just to summarise, residential workplaces are a workplace. As a workplace, it's 1 metre. You need to keep your distance. You need to make sure that the place is clean and tidy and you wash your hands. And you need to keep a register. By everyone doing their bit, and that's every single person doing their bit, we will fight this. What the government doesn't want is for there to be an outbreak in, let's just say, Auckland for residential building. If that occurs, the government will close down residential building. So it's really up to you, you builders out there, to make sure that you're doing it right. So on that note, I've finished my presentation and I'll hand it back now to Anna. Thank you.
谢谢 Paul， 也谢谢大家来参与我们的健康安全系列活动。和大家分享了这些知识之后呢，我们希望呢大家也能够把我们今天所了解到的这一些，真正呢用在我们工作和施工的现场，这样也能够保证我们得到最安全、最有效的这样的一个工作环境，来保护我们和家人的安全。最后呢，这里面有几个小问题，也是和大家能够来分享一下我们今天具体的一些内容，希望大家能够更细致的来了解我们今天所有和大家分享的东西。同时呢，我们也希望大家可以登录我们 EMA 的网站，更多的了解 EMA 我们所提供的这些对我们 business owner 的这些服务。同时 EMA 就像我刚才说的，我们会有一系列经过 NZCBIA 认证的健康与安全的培训，大家可以在我们这里呢进行短期或者是长期，甚至包括一些可以拿到证书的安全培训课程。如果您有更多的问题，请随时联系我们，谢谢。